problems, but a mortgage ain't one.
Say the word, I'll be there, right in the back of your motorcycle. Throw my hands up in the air. Chase the night in flashes, indestructible. We are together, try and catch us if you can. You never want me, but you love me. You just want what you can't have.
Oh wow, the beach is packed. Gonna be a nice sunset down here tonight.
You can't tame this wild thing. You can't be my one king in this heart of shadows. You can't make a beat. You can't tame the stone cold, cool as ice, but so bold. Modern day James Dean, ripped blue jeans. You're a bad boy, and you know it. My toy, you know I like it. I can't help but want you.
So much for the no fires on the beach bylaw, hey guys? This is what I'm talking about. Just do it anyways. Not hurting anybody. So I spoke too soon. The f***ing fire department is on its way down. I'm parked just on the side of the road by the beach. And down the beach, there are police lights. So some f***ing nosy, do-gooding, two-faced f***ing neighbor probably called the police because somebody was having a bonfire on a huge open beach which isn't bothering or threatening anybody or anything. But now they're gonna go and enforce the bylaws against these poor kids on the beach. And they're going to say, well, you're not even supposed to be on the beach because it's after 10 o'clock. So there's ticket number 1. Ticket number 2 will be for having a fire. Maybe they'll even have their cars towed because you're not supposed to park at the beach because you're not supposed to be at the beach. Okay, I'm going to say this in the nicest possible way I can. F*** you, Vancouver Park Board. Vancouver Park Board is, you know, like most major cities have, is the bureaucracy. There's an elected board to pass all these draconian bylaws and everything else. And I think that they need a reality check. And I love it when they pass a law and then they like to compare it to other cities. They're like, well, in so-and-so city they do this, so we're going to do it too. Stop it! We're not like other cities. And you should start thinking for yourself. This is my beach. It's not your beach, it's my beach. It's everyone's beach. And to lock everything down and control everything we do just in case there's a bad apple out there that causes a problem or leaves bottles lying around or cigarette butts in the sand or whatever it is. But to control everybody and everything and outright ban everything because of that is asinine. It's ridiculous. It is the opposite of a free society, a democracy. Now, yes, there are cities that are even worse than Vancouver, much worse. But it's a little bit freaking ridiculous if you can't come down here at 11 o'clock, not 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock or midnight and walk your dog, just enjoy the sound of the ocean, look at the stars, take pictures of the Vancouver skyline. Or, if you really want, have a little bonfire, roast some marshmallows. That is what a beach is for, ultimately. But oh no, neighbors won't put up with that. And what if there's charcoals left over, you know, smoldering ambers, or, you know, it makes it look bad, you know, in a little square like this where there was a fire pit. They're going to be worried about that now and just kick some sand over it, for fuck's sakes. But they want everything so controlled, like there is no nature left at the beach at all. Everything is so man-made, and it's like perfect sand, and all the logs are in a perfect straight line. Like how is that supposed to be beautiful? It looks fake. And to come down so hard on people for just sitting around and having a bonfire, I watched them, I pulled right up and I got right up to them, and they were absolutely harmless, just enjoying the fire. But oh, the big bad RCMP, or no, sorry, it was the Vancouver Police in this case that came down and you know, to kick them out and give them fines and all that stuff. Like, what the hell is wrong with society? And why do people allow them to enforce this stuff on us? Now, I said before in an earlier video that yes, be respectful of the police, they're just doing your job. However, I will add a disclaimer right now about that. I do believe, in fact, it's a fact that police are supposed to uphold and protect our rights. And that means, sorry about that email. And that means if there is a bylaw, a city ordinance that goes against our rights, they should not enforce it. In fact, they should be protecting us against such bylaws. They like to say, I'm just doing my job. I'm here to enforce the law. But no, your number one priority is to protect our rights. And if the law in question infringes on our rights, you need to do the right thing as a peace officer and ignore that law and protect us against that law. Protect us against the bureaucracy down at the City Council and the Vancouver Park Board. You need to do the right thing and use a judgment call. Everyone is it. If you come down and there's a bunch of kids smashing bottles and they're drunk and they're yahoos, absolutely. You can take them away for being intoxicated and disorderly in a public place. But if somebody's sitting at the edge of the water and drinking one can of beer, leave him alone. He is not a criminal. If somebody is roasting marshmallows over a bonfire at the end of the beach at midnight, leave him or her alone. They're not criminals. And if you enforce a bylaw, a city bylaw, it's not even the law of the land. It's a city bylaw that could be brought to court and thrown out just like that. If you enforce that against a free person, you are the criminal, Mr. or Mrs. Officer, not the person on the beach having a fire or drinking a can of beer. They're not the criminals. You are. You're supposed to uphold their rights. This is public land. This is a public beach. It's our beach. Now you're telling us that after 10 o'clock, we're not allowed on this beach? Zoom into Vancouver on Google Maps, Google Earth. Do you see how much parkland there is? All those green spaces and beaches? That's all governed by the Vancouver Park Board. And they say after 10 o'clock, you're not allowed there? 10 to 6 o'clock, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So you're telling us a huge percentage of Vancouver is basically under a curfew 7 days a week? Is this not one of the freest countries on the planet? And you're telling us there's a curfew on beaches and parks? I don't think so. No municipal bylaw has that kind of control over me. I will never stand for that. Since I've been doing this lifestyle over 15 years ago, I have been a huge advocate for personal liberty and personal rights and personal freedom, and it's getting to be a little bit too much. And the problem is, yes, an elected board makes these decisions, but the general public is not involved. Aside from the election process, that's it. We aren't involved in the decision. If I walk down this beach and poll people and ask them, do you realize if you're on this beach at 10:01 p.m., you're breaking a bylaw? You might not get, it might not be enforced, you might not get a ticket. But if they want to, they can. So if you're having a fire or drinking a beer or walking your dog, or you're parked after 11 o'clock in the parking lot, now they have a reason to come after you, search you, ask for ID, because you're already breaking a bylaw because you're there after 10 o'clock. If I ask 100 people on this beach, I guarantee you maybe one person might even realize that such a bylaw exists, which to me makes it completely unconstitutional and completely irrelevant. If a law, or in this case, a bylaw, is unjustified, it's our moral duty to outright ignore it and in my case, fight back against it and make a stink about it, because there needs to be awareness about this. People don't realize that all of this stuff is illegal. I showed you guys a sign of the beach down here that they had up the other day. No smoking on a public beach outdoors by the ocean. No beach balls on a frickin' beach. No dogs. No, basically anything you want to do at a beach that anybody with half a brain would think a beach is for, right? Having a fire late at night. You know, so, oh, a little trick for my fellow Canadians though. If you really want to screw with them and you don't want to deal with taking it to court, I'd love to take it to court. Come on down and try to give me a ticket for walking down the beach at 10:01 p.m. I would love to take the city to court and make a huge stink out of this and make them superstars on YouTube. So yeah, come on, come do it. I've been doing this for over 15 years and you ain't gonna stop me. Vancouver Park Board, Vancouver City Council. Anyways, sorry, I got a little bit off track there, but the little trick is, here in Canada, anything below the high tide line is federal land, it's crown land, and the city has no jurisdiction over it. So if you want to have a bonfire, just check the tide charts and come down when it's going out to low tide, and you can walk, especially down here at Spanish Banks, for example, where you can walk out for hundreds of feet before you're actually in the water, but you're still below the high tide line. You can have your bonfires. You can smoke your cigarettes. You can even drink your beers. Little trick. It's good to know, and I think everybody should know that. Did you know that when they have the fireworks every year here in Vancouver in the summer, there's 4 nights of fireworks? They all take place after 10 p.m. So that means, and there's over 500,000 people on Vancouver beaches for the fireworks. Every single one of them is breaking that bylaw. That would be a good time to get the word out, and how our park board has basically turned into a dictatorship, telling us what we can and can't do on our own land. You're not a criminal if you drink a beer. If you kill someone, you're a criminal. You park your vehicle at 4 in the morning if you freaking want to. It's your beach. Pretty soon they'll have fences up on all of them and they'll gate them all off every night. Well, yeah, you just watch, it'll happen. It's absolutely unbelievable. But the day that I'm walking down the beach, or the night I'm walking down the beach at midnight, just walking down the beach, and they come down and they try to give me a ticket, I guarantee you they're going to have cameras all up their ass. I can't wait till it happens, to be honest. And when I see what happened last night, these kids were hurting no one. There weren't even houses nearby that could see them. And they're getting the fire department and the police on their ass. There's nothing around that could burn. It's absolutely absurd. It's absurd. You should be able to have a bonfire on the beach if you want to. Oh, but what about the children? They might step in a hot amber the next day. What, 10 hours later on the beach? You know what? How about some education instead? Kick the sand on it, make sure it's out when you leave. I mean, that would go a lot farther. Instead of banning it for everyone because somebody might not be responsible. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. If 90% or more want it to be banned, okay, ban it. But I guarantee you more than 90% wouldn't want it to be banned. So, I mean, it's just like every other bylaw they pass down here, you know? In order to prevent a possible crime or a possible nuisance, they'll just ban it for everybody. And I think that's the opposite of democracy, and it's the opposite of freedom. So Vancouver Park Board, Mayor Gregor Robertson, Vancouver City Council, get your frickin' acts together, because we're not going to stand for this bullshit anymore. Keep on rocking in the free world.
Keep on rocking the free world, yeah.
Freedom is sexy. JustIncredible.tv.
Stick up for freedom. Get your Keep on Rockin' in the Free World sticker now at justincredible.net.